Welcome to FSA Lecture 2, Part D. This section of the lecture is going to be focusing on helping you with your assignment. Your first assignment is a group assignment, and the instructions for the assignment are in the subject outline. Furthermore, you're going to have to choose a company to analyze and then conduct evaluation on. To conduct evaluation of a company, we just learned that you need to first understand in a lot of detail the macroeconomic factors affecting your company, the industry structure, and your business's particular strategy. So assignment 1 will involve you conducting this economic, industry, and strategy analysis. In this lecture, I'm going to give you some hints and tips, some common mistakes that people make, and then it's going to finish off with showing you some resources that will help you on the research side of this assignment. For the macroeconomic analysis, the first part of your assignment, it's really important that you don't just give me a list of economic indicators, but you actually try and show that an economic driver is important for your particular firm. This could be as simple as providing me an explanation of the mechanism. So for example, I've listed here that 23.58% of Qantas's expenditure is on fuel. So the price of oil changing is going to be a direct driver of this fuel expense that Qantas have. So if we see that the oil price has dropped significantly in the last year, we could expect this key expense of Qantas to also drop in a similar manner. You have to explain the mechanism. If you can show it on the financial statements, that's a fantastic way of doing so as well. You can use correlations or regressions to show how a company's growth in prior years may be correlated or linked to other factors such as GDP growth or interest rates, something like that. Prove to me or show to me that there's a direct link between an economic factor and your company's performance. You could also do this using quotes from the CEO or management or industry analysts showing that or talking about how changes in the environment may affect that particular business. Newspaper articles are a fantastic source of information for this, so do lots of newspaper article searches relating to your company. Use the CEO's name, other manager's name, really get a good idea of any media coverage that your firm's had over the last couple of years to see what changes have impacted on your company. The biggest mistake that people make in their assignment, the first assignment, is that page 1, page 2, sometimes even page 3 does not tell me the name of their company or talk about the company at all. This assignment is a case study on analyzing a particular company, and the macroeconomic analysis is aiming to help us understand your company better. So the biggest mistake students make is they just list a bunch of economic indicators such as GDP, interest rates, inflation, commodity price, and analyze those independent of the company. That is, they'll discuss the GDP growth rate of the world, they'll tell me the interest rates in Australia, but they don't at all link it to their company or even tell me what company they're studying. So don't just quote economic statistics, but think about which are the important ones for your company and discuss them in the context of your company. Next up, you have to do an industry analysis. The focus of your industry analysis should be focusing on the main industry that your firm operates in. That means if your firm operates in multiple different industries, focus on the main 1 or 2 industries that really drives your firm's performance. That is the big revenue centers for your business. First of all, with your industry analysis, give me an understanding of the industry. Tell me the size of the industry, how many billions of dollars is it worth? Has the industry been growing or shrinking in previous years? Try and get some time series data for that particular industry. Tell me the market share of your firm. Tell me the market share of the competitors and if that's changed over previous years. And also tell me who the key suppliers and customers are that drive this industry. That is, the industry analysis needs to inform me about the industry that you're studying. You can then implement a Porter's 5 forces analysis, but make sure you've really outlined the industry structure, who the key players are, and the size and scope and growth of the industry before doing that. The most common or the biggest mistake that students make on their industry analysis is they don't provide me these kind of statistics or facts. The other really common mistake students make is that they talk about the theory of Porter's 5 forces. They copy paragraphs from the textbook and they discuss Porter's 5 forces theory, but they don't actually apply it. So in this assignment, I don't want to see any paragraphs from the textbook. Your job is to apply Porter's 5 forces, not explain it to me. So you can assume whoever's marking your assignment is very familiar with Porter's 5 forces, and you don't have to describe why the rivalry between firms or the threat of new entrants is important to analyze. but you do have to analyze those factors. At the end of Porter's 5 forces, the point of doing that is to help us forecast industry profitability in the future. So you need to have some sort of conclusion. A lot of students think about the 5 forces independently, and at no point in the assignment do they actually have a conclusion about what sort of industry profitability you could expect after doing that analysis. Next up, you have to do a strategy analysis. The strategy analysis needs to be explained in detail to me. So again, I don't want you to copy and paste from the textbook about what strategy analysis is. I don't need you to provide definitions of differentiation or cost leadership. I need to see that you understand your business's strategy. So that can sometimes be difficult to verify or difficult to understand, but you'll have to do some research and think about innovative ways of proving that a company is successful with their strategy or not doing so well compared to the competition. Simple ways of doing this that I've been really impressed with in previous semesters is that sometimes for a company that sells retail products, you can simply compare the prices your company charges customers compared to the competitors. If a company needs to be is a cost leader, they need to have competitive pricing compared to their competition. So show me that they're actually good at doing that. If they're a differentiated product, can you show me that they've won awards or have good customer ratings that illustrate the fact these products are superior to their competition? These are all ways that you can start thinking about, is your company actually living up to the strategy that you think they have? Other areas that you should also think about is how entrenched is your business in the industry? Are they the leader in the industry? Are they clearly out in front and successful with their strategy? Or are the competition doing better jobs than them? Another way that Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest and most successful investors, thinks about industry analysis and strategy analysis is to think, how much money would you have to throw at a problem to overcome the number one leader in that industry? Who's the biggest and best player in an industry? How many billions of dollars would you have to spend to actually knock them off from that top spot? That'll give you a good idea of just how much of a competitive advantage or how much of an economic moat this business has surrounding their success. The biggest mistakes in this area, not explaining the firm's competitive advantage, not telling me what your business does better than their competitors. You really need to get a good understanding of why they're better than the competition to be able to explain the strategy. The other big mistake, similar to the industry analysis, this is not a theory-based assignment, so I don't want you to copy from the textbook what cost leadership or differentiation is. I want you to explain why your company is one of them without all. So in conclusion, you need to understand the business that you're going to value. This is a applied case study assignment, so you don't need to copy and paste from the textbook. You need to apply what you know. You need to apply the theory to a specific company that you can choose from the list on UTS Online. In your report, you should clearly state what company you're studying. You should clearly tell me what your business sells, how they make a profit, who their customers are, and how they actually generate revenue, why customers would choose them over the competition. You need to use as many references as you possibly can. You need to use newspaper articles, quotes from the CEOs, facts and figures from industry reports. This all shows a high level of research and an understanding of your company, the economy, industry. That's key in getting a good mark in this assignment, showing me the research and the facts and figures. Think about if the tutor or the lecturer who's marking your assignment is actually learning new things when they read it. The more I learn from your assignment, the better your mark's going to be. If you simply rehash what's in the lecture slides and textbook, I already know that stuff. I'm not learning about your company. I need to learn new things about your company to do it. Okay, finally, I'm going to give you a little bit of help on how you can conduct this research. I do expect a lot of research in your assignments, but there are some fantastic resources that really help you with this analysis. So, first of all, for the economic analysis, there's a lot of government and industry sources that will provide you information. At the end of the lecture 1 slides, there's a whole list of providers of data. For example, if you want information on the interest rate, you can go to the RBA website. They also provide information on GDP growth rates and things like that as well. So there's a lot of really high quality government sources for the macroeconomic analysis. I'm also going to show you some databases that are available to UTS students through the UTS library, and some of them you may not have seen before, and they're going to be very valuable resources for you in this assignment. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to access the UTS library databases page, and we'll talk about some of the key databases that are available to help you out. So here, I'm on the UTS library website, and I've clicked on databases just to show you where it is. On the UTS Library website, click Find Databases. I encourage you to have a look at the different databases that are available, especially in the business section. You might find ones that I've not used before that have lots of useful information, but I'm going to start by showing you a few. For your economic analysis, if I go to Oxford Economics, I'm searching for Oxford Economics database, I can click on it, and I'm going to go to the electronic resource. You have to log into the library. Once you've logged into Oxford Economics, you can see there's a whole range of information available for you. For example, we could look at country economic forecasts. One of the starting points of our economic analysis is identifying which countries your company operates in and the economic outlook. So we could go into country economic outlooks and have a look for the countries that are relevant to you. For example, a lot of your companies will be focused on Australia. So I'll go to Australia. Once the Australia data is loaded, you'll see there's a nice report here that you can access, a 13-page long report with lots of graphs focusing on key economic data for Australia. There's also lots of reports along the side here that you can also access. So the Oxford Economics database is really going to be helpful for your macroeconomic analysis, along with government websites and other data sources, of course. Next up, to help you with your industry analysis, there's two databases I want to show you very briefly. We've got Mint Global and IBISWorld. So if I go to the UTS databases search again, and I search for Mint Global, it's available online for us. So again, we can go to the Mint Global website. The library is going to ask us to log into the library services, and then it will load the Mint Global database. Once the Mint Global database has loaded, you can see there's company searches as well as industry research. So for example, we could have a look at industry research reports. I might want to look up the alcohol industry. So in industry, I can search for alcohol, and I'll do a search and see what happens. One of the reports that are shown up is spirits in Australia. So we can access this PDF and see what's happening in the alcohol spirits industry in Australia. When the report's loaded, you'll see that often these industry analyst reports have a lot of facts, figures, and graphs. Please feel free to use these in your assignment, but make sure you reference them correctly and include them in your bibliography. For example, in this report, we can see the Australia Spirits market value. This gives me a brief indication of the size of this particular industry. Okay, so the millions, it's up to almost, let's say, $7 billion worth of value in 2017, and it's grown at a decent rate each year, between about 6 to 8% growth each year. There's lots and lots of facts and figures in these reports. Please have a look at them. Use this research to help your industry analysis. Use the data in them, but make sure you reference them as you go. Next up, we're going to look at IBISWorld. IBISWorld is also really useful for industry research reports. So in the UTS databases, I'm going to go to IBISWorld and load up their website. Once the IBISWorld website is loaded up, we can search for the industry we're interested in. So I'm going to look up the automotive industry in Australia to see what's happening in that space. Okay, so I get a lot of results about the automotive industry in Australia. I'll be able to access some of these reports. Once the report loads, again, you'll find that it's filled with facts, figures, and graphs that will help you understand your industry position. If I look over here on the left, I'm going to have a look at the industry at a glance. Straight away, I can see that the revenue of the industry in the last year was $166 billion. It's been growing, but at a very small rate. Okay, and even over the next 5 years, the forecast from these industry analysts is that the industry is only going to grow at 1.3% per annum. So straight away, we get an idea of things that are happening in this industry. The analyst has done a SWOT analysis for us as well. Okay, a lot of data. We can go through these reports and really get a good idea of what's happening in the industry. This helps you a lot for your analysis. It means you don't have to spend as much time understanding the industry. You don't have to do the primary research. You can read other analyst reports and supplement it with some of your own analysis as well. Another database that's really helpful is Data Analysis Premium. Data Analysis Premium is going to be useful, especially when we start looking at financial information, but it's also really great for understanding who your firm's competitors are and quickly looking at their financial results. So it could be helpful for the industry analysis, strategy analysis, and then moving forward into forecasting. So as we load up the data analysis website, we can see up here, the main thing is you can type in an ASX code. So this website has information about all listed Australian companies, has all their financial information, as well as details about their operations and all sorts of other information. So I'm going to look at Qantas this time. So I type in QAN, which is the Qantas code, and it'll take me to information about Qantas. So Qantas, principal activity, operation of international and domestic air transport services, which we already know. Tells me about the industry, transport and airlines. I'll be able to do searches on this website through this search tool and some of the financial searches to find other airlines that are listed in Australia. Down here, there's all sorts of different tabs that we can click on, and one that will be useful for us in future weeks is the financial data. Straight away, I can get profit and loss data for however many years of Qantas I want. I can go all the way back to 1990, and in one page, I can very quickly see their operating revenue used to be about $6 billion in 1994, and they've grown it all the way up to $17 billion in 2019. Data analysis has a lot of information about your company and lots of information about all listed Australian companies. Have a look through this and see if you can find anything that's useful. You may, in later weeks, look at the analyst forecast information. That'll help give you an idea of what the pros think is going to be happening to this particular company. Overall, your assignment 1 does require a lot of research, but it is a group assignment. You can share the load amongst your group members, and there are a lot of these fantastic resources that will really help you understand the size of the industry, the competitors, market shares. All that research is done for you. So it's a matter of using these resources, finding the best and most helpful information, putting it in your report, and of course referencing and putting it all in your bibliography so it's clear where you've done your research and where you've got your facts and figures from. It'll be a really great help when you do your assignment utilizing these UTS library databases. Good luck with your assignment, and if you have any questions, please ask in the discussion board or during your tutorials or in any of our Zoom consultation sessions as well. Thank you.